Hello everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello, welcome to part 2 of this here writing experiment, where I am trying to write every single day in March, other than a couple days, because I work 2 jobs on Mondays and Tuesdays, so those days are write-offs for me. Every other day, attempting to write for at least an hour every day. It's a little March experiment, and this is part 2. We ended part 1 a little iffy, like my hair today. I don't know what that piece is doing. We ended part 1 a little bit iffy with mood, with vibe, all that sorts of stuff. But we are coming back, my friends, into part 2 with a little bit of an uptick in motivation. So it is officially March 21st today. Yesterday, I wrote some fucking words. Actually, on the 20th, I ended up writing an entire scene longhand in my book. So, also, I should probably pitch my book at the beginning of this video, or you should just go watch part 1. This is Far Horizons. This is book 1 of a fantasy trilogy that starts with a fantasy mystery, and it's very D&D vibes. It's in the vein of Critical Role's Mighty Nine meets a little bit of Empire of Exiles and the Raven Scholar. So we have fantasy mystery, epic vibes, you know, all that shit. Undead on the loose, what have you. So on the 20th of March, between these 2 videos that I filmed, I ended up writing an entire scene longhand. I sat on my couch and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick up a pen and this here trusty notebook, and I'm going to write a scene that I know is going to exist in the book because of my beautiful timeline behind me and because of my brain figuring it out. And it's been a scene that is going to be in this book. I've had it in my head for months, a year or more at this point. Like, I've plotted that this is one of the first scenes that popped into my head. You know what I mean? So I was like, we're going to try it. We're going to jump forward, which I never do. I jumped forward in the plot. Who is she? I don't do that. I write so linearly. I need to go like point A to B to C to D to E to F. Like, I do not go from A to C to D to B to, I do not. My brain does not work that way. But this time I was like, what if we just try it? What if we just jump ahead and write a scene? And so I wrote the scene and I didn't stop. And I wrote 8 pages longhand, 7 pages, 6.5 pages longhand. I was so happy with it, which is great. Like, it's not a perfect scene, obviously. I did do like big brackets of like something else goes here kind of a thing, but like I was moving through the scene. I felt good about the writing and the way the scene was going, which is the first time in March since I felt that way. It made me so happy to do this. And then yesterday, the 21st of March, or the 20th of March, so I guess this was the 19th that I did this? I don't know, man. March. Yesterday, the 20th of March, I ended up typing this up. It was 1,400 words. So I wrote about 1,400 words longhand on the 19th. Insane. So I typed this up yesterday. Felt so good about it. Added a little bit to it. Beefed it up just a touch. And then I was like, what if we organize my Scrivener doc a little bit so that I have folders for scenes that are going to land on day 1 to day 7. Technically, there's also a day 8. But I was like, what if we organize this somehow in the Scrivener doc and we just throw scenes in it randomly? And then I was like, what if I write one of the scenes that's like near the end that I have half written in this book? So I flipped through my journal here and I found a scene that I have previously written that I've dubbed the coin toss scene. It is a very late scene in the book. It's one of the ones that's on day 8, if you will, like right near the end after everything's happened. So I previously have like planned things out and written out some of the scene longhand. So I wrote down what I have and then I just kept writing in that scene and continued on. And I ended up adding, in total, with the 1,400 words from the day before and this, we added 2,200 words to the draft. So we've broken 23,000 words in this fucking draft. I'm so elated. It feels so good to write and feel good about what you're writing. Like, despite the fact that I know rationally a lot of these words are not what I want them to be, I am just getting the story out. Like, a lot of what I'm telling myself as I'm writing this book, I find myself, I keep reminding myself that, yeah, like the sentences may feel funky, they may feel weird, they may feel clunky, very telly. That is something I can go back and fix. Like, I can really focus on the voice of this once the fucking story is done. Like, the voice of it, the way I'm telling the story, the way the sentences work and flow and what have you, that comes much later after all of the story has been written and then edited. Because if I'm working on the words now, I'm going to bog myself down so much. You know what I mean? So I'm just happy that I've gotten something down and a scene is down, and I'm elated. I'm elated. We finally had something that was a decent writing day considering what I've been going through in March so far. Go watch part 1 if you were confused. So, added 2,200 words yesterday. I don't know what I'm going to get up to today, but I wanted to start this vlog, update you on that. Also, one of the things I mentioned at the very end of the last vlog was that I needed to focus a little more. Did I mention that, or was that just in my head? I need to focus more when I'm working on these things. When I do my hour, I need to actually allot myself the time and the focus to focus entirely on this project for that hour. I'm not just here willy-nilly, half focused on a YouTube video and my phone, and then like typing here and there, thinking about the work at the back of my head. No, I want to actually focus on this for an hour, which is something that I should have done from the beginning, because I know how to lock myself in, because I figured that out a number of years ago when I was working on A Little Luck. I figured out how to lock myself in, and I just need my big ol' headphones or my earphones, if this is too weird sensorily, lock myself in with some music, cut off all the other distractions, and just fucking go for it for an hour. Yesterday, when I was typing up these words, I had I think Gab's Pokopia, one of her Pokopia videos from YouTube. Side note, I am so obsessed with Pokopia, and I have not even played it because I don't have a Switch 2. So I've actually told myself that I'm going to try like save up the money for it. Like I'm going to sell a couple things or whatever, save up money for it for a couple months. And I'm going to let myself get a Switch 2 once I'm done this draft. Because if I have that fucking Switch 2 now, this draft will not get done. That is my incentive. That is my incentive to actually getting this first draft done, is that I'm going to get myself a Switch 2 when it's done. I'm going to sell my Switch that I have now, not like right now, like when closer to when I'm actually getting the Switch 2. I'm going to sell the Switch I have and use that money and upgrade to a Switch 2. Because that's what I did from my Switch Lite to this Switch. I'm going to upgrade again. Because I deserve it. And I am so obsessed with Pokopia. I've never played Pokemon in my fucking life. And yet I keep watching this game and going, I need this game. Like this is going to devour my life. Like it's going to be a little crazy, but yeah. That's the plan anyways. And I know like with Nintendo, a lot of the games that are going to be coming out now are going to be exclusive to the Switch 2. So they're going to just slowly lock out the people who have the Switch 1s, and that's going to make everyone buy them. So slowly but surely I'm going to save up and I'm going to get one from someone on Facebook Marketplace. So it's not like the $800 unit that it would be if I got it in store. Because right now, I think on Amazon, it's like $625. On like Staples and Best Buy, it's like $700 roughly. Plus taxes, that's going to be about $800, $900 for a thing that I can probably get on Facebook Marketplace for like $500. I'm aiming, I'm hoping somebody will let me get it for $500 with just like straight cash. You know what I mean? So, anyways, that is my incentive to finish this draft. Because the quicker I finish this draft, the quicker I get to play Pokopia. Anyway, so I had that stream on. I had one of her videos on Gab Smolders, one of my faves. I had it on my work computer because I had just finished work for the day. And I was like, you know what? It's Friday. We're going to try this thing that I wanted to do, which was try an hour of work after work. Try the hour of work on my projects after my work day, you know? And I had prepped my brain for it because all day Friday, I kept telling myself, I'm like, okay, at the end of your day, you're going to do work on this. Because when I tried that previously, like in the first vlog, I realized that my brain had made plans for Wednesday after work, and then when I remembered that I was supposed to do the hour of work on the Wednesday, my brain was like, "Excuse me," and it fought me the whole time. So I prepped my brain the whole day by saying we're gonna do an hour of work. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. So I ended up putting my computer on its little stand. I got my fancy computer keyboard that I bought myself earlier last year, and then I sat down and I started typing. And it felt so nice to just focus entirely on typing the words that I had previously written into the draft. And I think that really helped, having previous words written by hand and then typing it up, because that like loosened something in me. And I started like editing a sentence here and there, and then I started writing a little bit more, beefing up scenes, and then I just kept going with the coin toss scene. So I hit the jackpot yesterday. I really did. I felt so good. I think it was over an hour of work in total. So happy about it. So going forward for the rest of March, my goals are to do an hour of work as many days as I can. Mondays and Tuesdays are my days off because I work 2 jobs on those days and I'm drained by the end of the day. I'm going to try and do the work as early in the day as I can, hence after my day job is done, so that I can get the hour done and then I can go and sit and relax and read or watch something or what have you without any guilt. I'm also going to devote my entire focus to said hour, locking in with music or just kind of sitting here and having no big distractions on. Like, because Pocopia is so like chill and it's a cozy game, it wasn't a big distraction. Like, if I was watching Ray play through Resident Evil, that's a bigger distraction because I want to pay attention to the story of that, right? So just because Pocopia is very chill and it's a lot of just like cleaning up and moving blocks and what have you, I had that on in the background and I was very chill about it. Hopefully by the end of March, I break that 25,000 word goal. Stretch goal, I mean, that should be very easy because we are close to 24,000 already. That should be an incredibly easy feat. Stretch goal, breaking 30K by the end of this month so that I can get good motivation, good momentum. And I mentioned it in the comments on my first vlog. If you go look at that, someone commented on that and was like, oh my God, I think it was Autumn. She ended up commenting that she was like, oh, I wrote every day in March. I should have joined this like vlog situation. I was like, yeah, I'm actually planning on bringing it into April because I am planning on bringing it into April. We're going to see how long I can go with this experiment of writing about an hour a day. I'm not going to push myself too hard if my brain starts like rebelling. It's going to be a very soft, very kind, gentle way of trying to get writing back into my life again as part of a routine. Because I think my brain loves a routine. That is the plan for this here vlog for the rest of March. I have my beautiful timeline of how long my friends are in Anchorage for, which is where they are. Not Anchorage, spelt with a CH. Anchorage, spelled ANCRAGE, which is the pirating village on Theramara Minor. Because my beautiful adventuring party of Ku and Lara and Sage and Drift and Xantar, they end up marooned on a pirating village that is being plagued by a creature that's stealing their livestock and suddenly starts killing people. And there's much more below that as well. Buckle in. I'll do updates here and there. I'm happy to have you. Hey, friends. It is officially March 30th. Today, we are coming to the end of this experiment, this challenge, as it turned out to be. I wanted to pop in and do a little update because it's been a while since I last talked to you. It's been a while. Let me hook this up to a pen so I have something to point. I don't remember the last time I talked to you. I think it was when I started this part of this vlog, part 2 of this vlog. So March has been very interesting overall. Last time I talked to you, I ended up writing a new scene and typing up that scene. I think that's what I was talking about on March 20th. So after that amazing day of adding 2,000 words, or 2,200 words or whatever to the draft, March 21st, I started a new scene with one of my characters, Drift, as the POV, which ended up being kind of like the, not quite the follow-up scene, but like a follow-up scene from the one that I had written previously. Not the coin toss scene, but one of the early scenes. It's a day 3 scene, I think. I think it's a day 3 scene. I ended up writing that. I am partway into it, and then I decided a couple things about like the structure of the scene going forward and some stuff about their character and stuff like that. So just little things on that day. March 22nd, it was a really fucking bad, terrible, awful, fuck ass pain day. Didn't do anything. Monday 23rd, didn't do anything. It was Monday. And then Tuesday also didn't do anything. It was Tuesday because those are my teaching days. Then Wednesday, March 25th, I ended up adding 829 words to the doc. I worked on the Drift scene to flesh out a bit more of their vibe, which was fun, kind of, fleshing things out, massaging things a bit. Didn't get a whole bunch done, but I'm happy that I still did some work. We love that. And then the 26th, I finally finished a scene that I mapped out on March 5th. So you remember that scene that I mapped out at the beginning of this fucking experiment using the Sarah Mugulrana map out system. This one, it was one of the first scenes. It was kind of like a continuation of the chronological line of the draft. That specific scene was like something that was kind of blocking me a little bit and has plagued me this entire month, but I finally fucking finished that motherfucking scene. I'm so happy about it. And I added 1,800 words to the doc, and I broke 25K that day because I hit 26,130 words in the draft on that day. I'm also looking over here because I have my computer sitting with the notes app of what I was doing because I'm keeping tabs on myself. It's the only way to remember. Fantastic. Yay. March 26th was such a banger. And then March 27th, and I took an accidental break. It was Friday. And I was like, yeah, I'll get my words done eventually. And then suddenly it was 1 a.m. The 28th, I did the same thing, which was unfortunate because that's a Saturday. I feel like my motivation to work on the weekends has kind of gone down in this month, which is interesting. It's something that I've noted or noticed kind of in my writing is that like when it's a Saturday or Sunday, I don't want to be writing. Like I don't have the drive to write, which is very weird because previously I used to write exclusively on the weekends because that's the only time I really had to write. So it's a kind of a weird swap. Like I want to be writing midweek and then not on my weekends. So I don't know what has rewired in my brain, but I need to rewire it the other way again. I would like to be writing on my weekends because that's when I have the most time to write. And I get more work done, Anyway, so yeah, March 27th and 28th, I didn't do anything accidentally. Friday and Saturday this week, I didn't do fuck all. And then yesterday, March 29th, I was on the verge of doing fuck all again. And then I was like, I can't do that to myself. It's Sunday. It's the 29th of March. We're coming to the end of this experiment. I can't fizzle out now. So I got the old trusty notebook and a pen and I planned out a scene. I kind of sat there for a second, like thinking about what scene I would want to do. And there isn't one that's like on the timeline that's like super vibrant in my brain right now, which is what I've been going off of previously of like what's the most standout. This is kind of like the scene that I would want to write. Like this is the scene that I'm very like, it's like nitpicking at my brain. I can picture it perfectly. There wasn't really a scene like that. Like I can picture the majority of these scenes, but there wasn't one that was really standing out to me. So I just picked one and I was like, that could be fun. Let's plan that one out. Like day 3 scene, early morning, the Duskwalkers, which is the name of my adventuring party. If you missed that in part 1, I renamed the adventuring party from the Cavern Crew to the Duskwalkers because that is a little bit more apt for thematic reasons, all this kind of stuff. It's a day 3 scene, very first thing in the morning, where they get woken up by someone knocking on their door because there was not just a attack by this creature, there was an attack by this creature, if you will. The creature didn't steal more livestock. The creature tried to take someone. And so they're like, you're here planning this. You're sticking your nose in shit. Like, you Duskwalkers need to be aware of this happening. And also, we kind of need your healer to help us out because our healer is currently drunk. Like, it was one of those moments. So it's like, we have everyone. And I ended up kind of fleshing out the scene, kind of seeing where I wanted to put it, all this kind of stuff. Got 4 pages written by hand. Love that for me. Figured out something else about one of my other characters just on the fly, which is very fun. I'm excited to today at some point to type that up, see how many words that is, and continue writing the scene because I didn't finish the scene yesterday. So that is the update, my friends. Where are we sitting in the draft currently? We are sitting at 26,130 words still. We did break 25K. I did want to potentially hit 30K, but that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. That was like a big stretch goal, and that's totally fine because I'm still happy with the amount of work that I've done on this draft this month, and I am taking this writing every day challenge and I'm going to extend it into April because I think it is a good exercise for me to do at least an hour of work every day that I can and to keep trucking away, to keep picking away at my story and getting it somewhere, So that is where we are at. And I'm very excited about it. I'm very happy with it. And it's kind of weird that I have been kind of bopping around in the project a little bit. Like I've been, jumping around in different scenes. I have a scene from day 8 written. I have a scene from day 3 written and all sorts of stuff. Like I don't do that with my work. I work very chronologically. So the fact that this project is like, no, just jump around a little bit. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit because I don't know how to like tie everything together, but it's kind of fun also to like go to the scenes that my brain wants to write instead of trying to just work my way there. Yeah, I don't know. With every single new book, you're learning something new about yourself and about the writing process and about your storytelling and all this kind of stuff. And you're relearning how to write a fucking book every time. So that is where I'm at right now. I'm learning how to write this book. It's exciting. So I'm going to keep working on this today at some point. And then we have tomorrow to finish us off. Exciting things, my friends. But overall, I think it's been a really interesting experiment, not only to try and jumpstart, quote unquote, very gently, my creativity in 2026, getting myself on some kind of rhythm, some kind of like, yeah, I'm slowly chipping away at this, slowly working at it, I think is a better balance than trying to do the big like writing 45,000 words in 4 days or whatever the fuck I used to do. It wasn't 4 days. I think it was like 9 days or something, which was just like a one-way ticket to burnout. Not to say that I won't ever do something ridiculous like that again, because sometimes the stories just pour out of me. And this is not one of those. This is one that it is like pulling teeth trying to get the story out, but that's okay because then it allows me to sit with the story a little more, really think about how each scene kind of functions, making sure every scene is doing something. Yes, I don't want to be too nitpicky about that right now because it is the very first draft of this book. Like, it's going to be a trash draft. That is what the first drafts of my books are usually. Like, that shit's bad. It's just me telling me the story so that I can then go back and make the story better, you know? So I'm not overly worried about getting the accuracy in this one. I'm not overly worried about making sure every single scene is doing something and like making it the tightest it can go, but I am constantly thinking about like, how can I make this story a little bit better, a little bit more tight? Like, would this plot point be better here, or should I like pull it forward a little bit so that we can keep the story moving in a different way? Like, these are things I'm always thinking about, like, especially because I have this timeline now of all these different mapped out scenes and situations. Like, I can look at day 2 and I already know I'm going to switch things around and squash scenes together, and I'm just like, yeah, like, this is so handy to have because then I can already think about what's going on and how I can make it snappier, you know what I mean? But also still have a nice delineation of like what's happening, and you can't really see because it's blurry in in the camera, but right here in day 4, at the beginning of day 4, there's a midpoint, and that is the midpoint of my story written down. Obviously, that's the midpoint of the story, and it's kind of nice to see that it kind of lands directly in the middle of the story in some weird way, because we have, of course, day 8, day 7, and then day 8 here, and then we have a little bit more before day 1, before they come to Anchorage. So it is kind of in the center of the story, which I'm really happy about because that's where you want your midpoint to be. So I don't know. This whole experiment has been really interesting. I love the fact that I vlog these things because it is allowing me to see my process of writing every time I do a new book. And I kind of low-key love that. So we love this. Anyways, I'm kind of itching to work on Cosmic Latte, but to the point where I have completely pushed that to the back of my mind. Just the way, like the same way that even though I'm obsessed with Pocopia, I have shoved that idea of getting a Switch to the back of my mind because I cannot let this be forefront because it's just going to take up my whole mind and my whole being. So I'm just watching people play Pocopia and going, one day that'll be me. So I'm using these things as like gentle incentive to keep myself going because I know once this first draft is done, I'm letting this sit for at least a month so that I can dabble in some other stuff. And I'm thinking could be fun to do Cosmic Latte. I think could be very fun to start dabbling in that one again, which is my cozy adjacent sci-fi, and also just play a fuck ton of Pokemon Pocopia. But I am hoping that just like today and tomorrow, the last 2 days, I hope I get another couple thousand words down, which would be really, really cool. We'll see where I end up tomorrow as of the 31st of March. But yes, I would really like to keep this going into April, just like an hour here and there, as many days as I can, to try and keep the momentum going, even though it's a very, very slow momentum, just so that I can build that into my life and like build the expectation that I am working on my dream job, my dream career, what I love the most every day. You know, that's kind of what I want to be doing with this. And I think I kind of have, because I'm always thinking about my stories now. And I'm always kind of like considering like, oh, like what would I want to do for my hour of work today? Like, what do I want to work on specifically? Is there's a scene that's kind of in my head? Like, I'm always thinking about it. I'm always thinking about my characters. So that's kind of amazing and very fun. It is March 30th. Let's see what work I can get done today and tomorrow to wrap up this here vlog, an experiment. Hello, friends. It is officially April 1st today, and I'm popping in, my friends, to chat about the end of this experiment, about what I've learned, all that good stuff, because it is officially no longer March. But I am going to be hopefully continuing this experiment into April, probably going to be doing a writing vlog for it as well, just to keep myself accountable, all that good stuff, because I think this is a very good, not necessarily a challenge, but something that I should implement in my life, that I keep up every so often, to try and actually, you know, implement working on my creative work in a more healthy way rather than just like going through cycles of like just doing that, whereas like we're, you know, an hour a day is very reasonable. So yesterday I did fuck all. So we kind of ended on a little bit of a down, but on the 30th, when I last talked to you that day, I ended up typing up the scene that I wrote the previous day by hand, and I ended up expanding on that scene. I kind of sat with it a little bit and then continued the scene. It is still not done. The scene is seen as a whole, but I'm excited about it, and I think it's a very interesting scene, and I ended up talking about it a lot in my recent weekend vlog. So if you want to hear me expand more on that specific scene, go watch that vlog. It's the video before this on my feed. I really enjoyed it. So we ended up adding 2,659 words on the 30th of March. We broke 28,000 words. So we are ending this experiment with the draft at 28,780 words in this here draft. And I'm so happy with that. I feel like this experiment has really gone through all of the emotions where we have not only really prepped well. That first week in March was absolutely phenomenal. I felt so good. I was really into it. And then the second week in March, everything just kind of fell off. And I've also had really terrible, like weird body things happening and like pain things happening in March. So really, overall, I think I did pretty good. I think I did pretty good. I don't remember what we started with word count wise. Okay, so March 8th is the first time I wrote down like a word count as to what we had hit that day. And that day I hit 20,000 words at 20,458 words. So before this video started, we were at 18, 19,000 words, roughly. And then we are ending with 28,000 words, almost 29,000 words. And I'm very happy with that. I wish I could have, gotten maybe an extra like 5,000 more and like actually broke that 30K. If I had written yesterday, I would have broken 30K. I have a feeling, just the way that the writing has been going recently. But yesterday I ended up, I had so many things on the plate. It was Tuesday, but this week, Monday and Tuesday, is spring break. So I didn't have to go teaching Mondays and Tuesdays. So I did get work done on the Monday, but not on the Tuesday for this specific project. Doesn't mean I wasn't working on something creative though. I was working on my like a little side project that I'm doing throughout this week because I have the time in the evenings for at least 4 days. I realize that Friday is out of the question because I'm going to the lake on Friday. Hopefully I make it. My leg is still being a little bitch. I'm determined to get to the lake. So Friday is kind of a write-off, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, today is Wednesday, I am hoping to work on this project a little bit and like really kickstart stuff for it. So I'll just have to come back next week and keep that momentum going, hopefully, with that particular project. But so I had that going on. Also, I ended up recording for Writing About Dragons and shit again. So that episode will be out on Friday for everyone. If you're part of their Patreon, I believe Wednesday it goes out sometime today. Hopefully, I haven't seen an update come through or a post come through, but it's going out as well. I love the fact that I've been a little guest host on the pod. It's been so fun. And this past episode was all about characters and like character arcs and finding characters and stuff like that. So it was really interesting. And I think I'm going to be on one more episode. I'm actually going to get to meet B Dave this time because B Dave is going to be back. Trevor said that they want to have me on one more time with B Dave because I've never met him, to like wrap up my little guest hosting sojourn on the pod, which has been so lovely. So hopefully that is wonderful. But yeah, go listen to those podcast episodes, my guys. I've been in, this is the third one because I had to bail on one of them because I was feeling very terrible. Good old fever kicked in. I don't know what the fuck was happening that day. That was my day yesterday. And I also did some fun like art stuff in the middle of that for like the hour and a half that I had between when I was done working on the project for the day to the recording of Writing About Dragons and shit. So I was doing a lot. Just not specifically on Far Horizons, which is totally fine. I'm not mad about it. I think that this experiment was beneficial to kind of reminding me of my habits and different things that I need to remind myself when I'm sitting down to be productive for the hour, where, actually focusing on the work in front of me is number one. Like locking in kind of like with music if I want, like that just seems to be the best way to get into a flow state. And I have also learned, new to this specific challenge, is that planning out the scene ahead of time is incredibly handy for this go around. And kind of picturing it in my head, blocking it out, who's in it, what happens, like goals, that kind of thing, whatever the scene is specific to, like the one that I wrote on the 29th and then typed up on the 30th and ended up expanding on, and I'm still not done the scene, which is kind of crazy. It's such a long scene. It's got like 2,600 words in it. It's so helpful to do that for me. I find it so interesting to be able to like sit down and map out a scene and then have a roadmap of what I'm doing. It makes actually writing the scene a lot nicer if I know where I'm going in the scene, which makes a lot of sense because that is how I am as a writer in general. I've always said that I need to know my ending before I even start writing because I need to know where I'm going. Literally, I need to know the final image, not necessarily the like direction of the actual ending of the book, the denouement, if you will. No, because that is usually the very last thing that I figure out because I usually don't know exactly how to do that denouement because I don't know the vibe of like where we're gonna be in those moments. Like that is the foggiest my brain is in those moments. I need to know the like a very very beginning. I need to know the opening image, and then I need to know the midpoint, and then I need to know the final image usually, and then I can, you know, mess around with bone structure in the middle of that and then come back to it. But I need to know my ending. I need to know my very final image. I need to know where my characters are in the last moments of this book. I think that that is nice to know as a writer, that now that like grander scheme of things, like where I want my characters to be at the end of this particular story, has boiled down into something that I need to know scene wise. Like, where is the scene going? It's giving myself a little mini roadmap, if you will, which is very helpful. And I think it's fun to also then write that scene by hand, like kind of like flesh it out, like see what's going to go on, see what happens. I find writing by hand so much nicer nowadays because it is like I would never fully long form write a book by hand. That would be crazy. But actually like sitting down to mess out, just mess around with things, you know, get your brain on a page, that shit's great. And it like it allows me to completely focus in as well because it's another way of like locking in because it's just me and a pencil in my hand or a pen. I don't ever use pencils anymore. I hate pencils because they're so like smudgy and bad. Pen all the way. So I'm always about writing with pen, getting things down, using sticky notes, you know, just letting my brain do what it wants and focusing fully on the page and what's going on in my hand. So that is what I've learned from this experiment. Tips and tricks that I want to take forward into April as I continue implementing writing or working on my stories for at least an hour every day or every day that I can. I have to say that because Mondays and Tuesdays are usually my days off, but who's to say? I've also seen myself kind of flag a little bit. Flag, is that the right way to say that? I've seen myself kind of peter out in motivation on the weekends recently, like Saturdays and Sundays. I've been very just I don't want to write, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit on the couch, and that's fine. That happens. I have a little bit more motivation during the week than the weekends, but that's completely new. Previously, I get all my work done on the weekends alone. And so it's like tiny little bursts of big word counts is what I used to do. I used to get like 3 to 5K on a Saturday and like maybe even more on a Sunday. Like I would just get words out on the weekend. And now I'm just like, nah. Friday, my brain does not function and my motivation goes down on a Saturday and a Sunday. So, like, doing little things on a Saturday and Sunday here and there is, I think, the way to keep myself going. And then the bigger, more work that I end up doing on weekdays is the way to go forward. I can't really change the way that I write around schedule wise because if I wanted to not write on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would have to then write on Mondays and Tuesdays. And my brain is so tapped on Mondays and Tuesdays, especially Mondays, because that's the day that I edit my weekend vlogs as well as have my 9 to 5 and my 8 to 4, 8 to 4:30, and also then go teach for 3 hours. And then I teach again on Tuesday for 3 hours. Tuesdays are usually a little bit less intense for me because then I don't have to come home and edit a vlog. Usually Tuesday I can come home and do nothing on the couch. It just depends. And knowing that, I cannot make those days where I then like mentally have to write. If I want to work on those days, if I have that creativity spark, I will let myself do so. But usually I'm mentally tapped and I don't have the creative juices flowing on those days. So I just have to kind of get used to working on this on the weekends again instead of just like tapping out and just doing nothing on the couch, right? So, but yeah, my friends, thank you so much for sticking around for this part 2 of said writing experiment. I'm going to continue with this in April, so I will see you again in April for some writing vlogs, and I'll see you again for many vlogs as we go forward, and videos and what have you. But thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on writing.